We have our
Tuesday, October 24th, City Council meeting to order. We have Pledge of Allegiance and Invocation by Councilwoman Knoll.
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We all bow your heads as we pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we are gathered here today to seek your wisdom and guidance as we convene for this city council meeting. Grant us the strength, Lord, to make decisions that benefit our community and insights to do so with compassion and fairness. May our discussions be filled with respect and understanding, and may our actions be in the best interest of all. In your name we pray, amen.
Amen, amen. We do not have any special presentations today. Council, I did have a matter I wanted to discuss toward the end of our meeting under other business. Okay, can I get approval on the minutes? All right, minutes stand without objection. Council, if there's no objection, we can take ordinance on the final reading, items A through G as a group. If anything needs to come out or be pulled out, please hit your light. All right, Madam Clerk.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance, so as to rezone 5468 Old Hickson Pike from O1 Office Zone and C2 Convenience Commercial Zone with conditions to C2 Convenience Commercial Zone subject to certain conditions. Item B, an ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance, so as to rezone parcel properties located at 3320 and 3440 Lightfoot Mill Road from R2 Residential Zone to N1 Manufacturing Zone. Item C, an ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance, so as to rezone 1812 Hickory Valley Road from R1 Residential Zone to RTZ Residential Townhouse or Lot Line Zone. Item D, an ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance, so as to rezone part of an unaddressed property located in the 6,000 block of Highway 58 from R1 Residential Zone to C2 Convenience Commercial Zone subject to certain conditions. Item E, an ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance, so as to rezone properties located at 2409, 2411, 2417, and an unaddressed parcel in the 2400 block of East Main Street from C2 Convenience Commercial Zone to C3 Central Business Zone subject to certain conditions. Item F, an ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance, so as to rezone 809 Dodge Avenue from R2 Residential Zone and C2 Convenience Commercial Zone to UGC Urban General Commercial Zone subject to certain conditions. Item G, an ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance, Article 16, Downtown Chattanooga Form-Based Code, Division 4, Downtown Core, Section 38702, DCX Commercial Mixed-Use Zone to add additional maximum permitted building heights.
All right, Council, you've heard the reading. Councilwoman Burrs. Okay. All right, it's been motioned and properly second. Councilwoman Burrs.
I was gonna make the motion.
Oh, thank you so much.
That's why I was up there.
All right.
Okay.
Any comments or questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Madam Clerk, item H.
An ordinance amending Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 16, Section 1659 through 1666 by deleting same in their entirety and substituting in lieu thereof the following new sections as amended for the Police Advisory Review Committee.
All right, Councilman Henderson.
Move to approve. Second.
Okay, it's been motioned and properly second. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
Oh, Madam Clerk, can we have a roll call vote?
Yes. Councilwoman Knoll.
No.
Councilwoman Burrs.
No.
Councilman Hester.
No.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Henderson.
Yes.
Vice Chair Hill.
No.
Chair Dudley.
Yes.
That's 4 no, 3 yes.
All right, motion fails. All right, council. Ordinances under first reading. Madam Clerk, item A.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance, so as to rezone part of a property located at 1710 South Holsclaw Avenue from R2 Residential Zone to UGC Urban General Commercial Zone, subject to certain conditions.
All right, is the applicant present? Okay, I have an applicant. Any opposition present? All right, that is in District 8. All right.
Madam Chair, I'd like to have a presentation, please.
This is a request to rezone 1710 South Holtzclaw Avenue from R2 Residential Zone to C2 Convenience Commercial Zone to develop an event venue. I think the application more specifically said future event venue. There was not opposition. The site is on South Holtzclaw, a few blocks south of Main Street. Has a mix of zoning. The M1 manufacturing zone's the light purple, that darker M2 is to the southeast, and the UGC is the red hatch. There is orange, the orange zoning is the R2 residential zone. This property is on the same parcel as the lot to the south, so although that property is zoned R2, it is under the same property ownership. The little zoning history on the site, the most recent, I believe, is the one to the south, the 1800 block of South Holtzclaw, was rezoned to UGC with conditions very similar to the conditions that are recommended for this rezoning, prohibiting auto-oriented uses, adult-oriented establishments, with a maximum height of 4 stories. There's also UGC zone across from the site and to the northwest, and that was rezoned in 2018 to UGC, and I just pulled the ordinance while we were waiting. I don't see any conditions on that UGC. Just zooming out a little bit to give you, again, Main Street is running just to the north of that, and then 23rd to the south, so manufacturing zoning predominantly on the southern portion of South Holtzclaw, and that mix of zoning you're seeing here with the site highlighted in teal. So the surrounding land uses are pretty reflective of the zoning. It's a mix of single-unit residential, multi-unit residential, commercial, nonprofit uses, some small-scale uses like daycares, and then the National Guard Armory. And I'll show some pictures just to help orient. This is the site. And then the prize said it shares a parcel with another structure. That structure is the one to the right. Looking north of the site on South Holtzclaw, this is the property that shares the site with. This is just kind of around the corner, so not the front of the building. This is east of the site. This property is actually not directly behind the building. This is on the corner of of East 18th Street and South Greenwood Avenue, so kind of behind and to the south. This is the office across Holtzclaw from the site. So the plan, this property is contained in the Area 3 Historic River to Ridge Plan. It's adopted in 2020. The plan recommendation is industrial hybrid. Just to zoom in a little bit because it's hard to read on the plan. The industrial hybrid place type typically includes a mixture of light manufacturing, assembly, and contractor businesses along with multifamily residential and commercial uses. So we've talked about it before, the River to Ridge Plan, it kind of has primary uses and then secondary uses have a little bit more, are based on more geography. In this case, primary uses include non-noxious, non-nuisance light manufacturing, assembly, distribution, small-scale workshops, contractors' offices, live-work units, printing, and shared flex industrial spaces. Secondary uses come into play here. They include retail and commercial services, offices, restaurants, coffee shops, open space, open spaces, and multifamily residential. Staff noted the request meets the following secondary criteria. The site's served by local transit, located on a corner and located on an A street. So staff found that the request for commercial zoning at the site is compatible with the Area 3 Historic River to Ridge Plan surrounding land uses and development form. But staff noted the C2 zone is not compatible. The C2 zone's more, the requested C2 zone is more of a suburban, allows a suburban development form. And staff recommended deny the C2 and approve the UGC, which has kind of a mix of similar uses, but does require that urban development form. Also, staff recommended limiting out some of the more nuisance uses in that zone. That's a pretty wide zone, and the uses are shown here. There was no opposition at Planning Commission. Planning Commission had similar findings to staff, that this was compatible with the plan, development form, and adjacent land uses, and carried over those recommended conditions. So the ordinance has the approved UGC, and then limiting out auto-oriented uses, adult-oriented establishments, self-service storage facilities, wholesaling with accessory warehousing, and hospitals shall be prohibited.
Okay,
All right.
so Karen, I'm sorry,
No.
what was, the use on the application?
The application says, reason for request, project description, future event venue.
Okay.
And that should be part of your packet materials too, provided by staff.
Thank you.
All
Thank you,
right.
Madam Chair.
All right, and Councilman Henderson?
Oh, excuse me.
Go back to the slide. You said this has a shared parcel?
It does. And I should have looked, I don't know that I'm able to see when it's combined. I'm going to see if a map. So this one, it's kind of hard because we have the outline on it. It is, let me go, I'm going to go forward to the site plan, and this is probably better. There is a parcel. The part that is the zoning case is the area highlighted in blue. That portion of the parcel in red, highlighted in red, is not impacted by the rezoning. So it is not uncommon to have a portion of a property rezoned. We usually show that in the legal description as a part of a property.
Okay, and so the remaining, the parcel in red is what is,
The parcel in red is currently R2.
okay,
Let me just go back to the zoning map so you can see that again.
okay. And you couldn't legally have a motel in R2, correct?
You cannot have a motel in R2 unless there is some weird grandfathering in situation, but I'm not aware that that's
But this
happened.
lot would not be,
Not that I'm aware of, no.
yeah, okay, or this parcel. Okay, all right.
All right. Thank you so much, Councilman Henderson. City Attorney.
Yes, Karen, the ordinance itself just says the north 100 feet of Lot 81A, correct? So it's not the entire lot.
It is not intended to be the entire lot, and we supplement the legal with the map to make sure that those both interact, but let me just double check the ordinance. It does show part, and it shows the north 100 feet of the lot.
Yeah, I just didn't see a map. That's what I was trying to make sure, at least if we had one. It's attached to the application, I guess, isn't that right? The part in blue you were just showing.
Back up to the parcel where it's the blue
There.
there.
So that's the north 100 feet, correct?
It appears, just from the measurement I'm looking at, it's 99 point something feet,
Okay.
according to the map, but we can also provide the city attorney's office an additional map if needed.
Please, thank you.
Yes.
All right. Is that it, Phil? Okay, Councilwoman Burrs?
So Karen, you were zooming past all this
I'm sorry.
so fast. I'm trying to get an idea of the area. Could you show me the pictures? Whoa, is this what's getting rezoned?
No, I'll start at the beginning to help orient. This is
Yeah.
the site,
All right,
and this is an existing structure, obviously.
okay. So this thing with the mural on it is what we're looking at?
That's correct. And it's a portion of the parking lot, or the parking lot also.
And it is zoned currently what?
It is currently zoned R2.
R2. Okay. And then this part of a house we see next to it, that's the attached property?
That is the remainder of the same property, yes, and that's not part of the zoning case.
And it's zoned
R2 also.
R2? And what is the current use of these two?
Right now, we don't show a use for the existing structure, which is probably something we need to do. Our map shows short-term vacation rental and event venue for the property, adjacent property. So we, a lot of times do either.
For
look-
the house?
For the yes, the
The
house.
house is a short-term vacation rental?
That's what we have, and we usually do a combination of tax map and then just doing a tour of the building, of the area, and if we're not sure, we'll pull up a property just
Okay.
to check its use.
So right now, just to get it straight, we have a legal short-term vacation rental, and and the property is asked to connect to something that has no use right now.
I don't know what the current use is for the structure. I would assume that since it's zoned, for the zoning case, it's zoned R2, so it is, I guess, something in the R2 uses, The property to the south, may I take a moment and just read something, and I don't know if this will help
Yeah, because we've
clarify or
had so
not.
much discussion about all
Sure.
this on council. I'm
This-
just trying to get my
Yeah,
head straight.
staff made a note in the staff report, and it's under the compatibility with adopted area neighborhood plans. And staff made a note that the applicant, and I'm just reading, the applicant may consider expanding the zoning request or requesting rezoning to the remainder of the property. That property is zoned R2 residential, which besides residential uses, only allows home occupations, a daycare with 7 or fewer children, or daycare with more than 7 children through a special permit. So we were flagging through this process, just not absolutely certain what was going on there, but, certainly
So if it was a
expanding.
short-term vacation rental, it's not a legal short-term?
We
vacation?
did not check on that we did not check. We just noticed when we were there that it might have another use and
Okay,
flagged that
I
in the
was just-
staff
I was just
application, in the
curious.
staff report.
And then, okay, and so the request is for whatever that property, the house property, the request is to attach the warehouse with the mural property to it. Is that the request?
It is already one parcel. How they plan on connecting it, I can show you their site plan. I don't know if that will provide any. So they show the existing structure and parking, but we did not,
Do
I
they
do-
touch up against each other?
I don't know that they physically attach, but they're one property. And the aerial photograph might help a little bit. I'm not, let's see if the aerial, so this is the aerial photograph. So you can see how close. I don't know that there's a fence between the two. The applicant would have to speak to that.
Okay, just one last question, Madam Chair. Here's what I'm trying to get my arms around. Originally, there was one big piece of property, and only part of it was rezoned.
So I think that since our notes show that case 2020-0121 rezoned this site in 1706 South Holtzclaw, I believe, and based on the map we have as part of our area plan, which shows property lines, and I believe is showing there's 2 properties there, I cannot confirm on the fly. I believe there were probably 2 parcels that have been
parcels.
combined into one parcel. The applicant might know
This will
more.
combine them into one parcel.
It is already one parcel. As of right now, it is one parcel. I don't know when that happened. The applicant might need to confirm
It already is
that.
one parcel, and only part of that parcel
Is
is
seeking
C2.
rezoning. The
Is-
the entirety of the parcel is R2. They're seeking a rezoning for a portion of that one.
The whole thing is R2.
Correct.
And they're seeking a rezoning for where the warehouse-looking thing is to UGC or C2?
That's correct. They ask for C2. It comes with a recommendation to
Okay.
UGC.
All right. Thank you very much. It
You're
clears it up
welcome.
for me. Thank you.
It's a bit confusing, perhaps.
All right, thank you, Councilwoman Burrs. Councilman Henderson.
I want to follow up, Karen, back to the the overview where, right there, who put STVR on there? Or why is it on there?
So in prepping for the meeting and just going through slides with Brian Schultz, who prepares for Planning Commission, I asked for confirmation on the short-term vacation rental and event venue, and my understanding is staff wasn't sure and just Googled the address and came up with that was the use identified from, I guess, information on the internet.
But it would be illegal to have a short-term vacation rental at this site. Is that correct? Huh?
It's,
It would be illegal to have a short-term vacation rental at this house.
I'm being, Chris Anderson is saying that there's no permit for that address.
I'm not asking that question.
Okay.
It is zoned R2, correct?
It is zoned R2.
Is there any circumstance that you can have a short-term vacation rental in R2? If they do not already have a permit?
If they do not already have a permit and are not grandfathered in, no new applicant can be granted an absentee permit in an R2.
So if they do not have a permit at this house location currently, it would be illegal for them to operate a short-term vacation rental at this address.
That is correct.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, is that it, Councilman Henderson?
That's it.
All right. All right, so Councilwoman Noel, we do have the applicant present. I see no opposition. Applicant can have, this is a public hearing, they can have 7 minutes to, if you'd like to present your case, if we can get 7 minutes on the clock.
Hello, Michael Stewart and Hannah Claire Bogus with Chambliss Bonner on behalf of the applicant. Hannah Claire is going to give a little bit of background, but I do want to make sure that we're clear on the short-term vacation rental, because I understand that there's some confusion on that. I understand why there would be confusion. I think there's some stuff on the website as far as leasing that out, using it for those purposes, but in talking with our client, it has not been used for that purpose. She doesn't plan to use it for that purpose, and we want to be clear in connection with any rezoning. We would be fine with having conditions added that the property would not be used for that purpose. She basically wants to use this event space, the warehouse space for events. And just to clarify, before we get a little more of the background, the reason for it was 2 parcels at one time. It was zoned M1, the top parcel, and R2, the bottom parcel. That property was combined via plat. That's why it's considered as one lot. That's why there's this request for the split zoning for the top part that would be used for the event space and the bottom part that would just remain R2.
Yeah, so as Michael was saying, our client combined the parcels in 2020. She had plans to use the entire property for her large family to come and stay at the house, gather. She had previously considered doing an event venue and short-term vacation rental, but that was pre-COVID. And so COVID changed those plans. And now she's gearing up the idea of doing an event venue, but she has a long-term tenant who's staying on the residential piece. So as Michael said, there's no plans to do short-term vacation rental, nor has there been short-term vacation rental on the residential structure. There is a fence that divides the 2 properties, both for the safety of the potential event venue guests so that they don't have access to that pool there. And also for the long-term tenant who's at the residence, that way there's some degree of separation between the 2. Our client has understood from discussions with Councilwoman Knoll that we've had, and that she's also had, that there is some general opposition to the rezoning. And so this past week, she engaged with residents and the surrounding properties and has about 15 signatures on a petition in support of the rezoning. That includes the property that's directly behind the residential piece and the property to the south and the property directly to the north. So we're here, we're happy to answer any questions, any concerns that we may be able to address. I think Karen really covered the history, so unless there are specific questions about the history, I don't really feel the need to go back into that.
All right. Thank you so much. Councilman Henderson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I forget, I didn't write your name down. Sorry,
Michael.
what,
Michael Stewart,
Stewart? Mr. Stewart, what is the Betty?
the Betty, I believe that's the vacation, for the event space. That is where the confusion lies. I know that there's some website out there that has it where I think the plan was to do the vacation rental, but again, it's our understanding that our client has not done vacation rental, even though there's advertisements for it. She has not used it for that purpose. She understands, I mean,
It's
obviously.
advertised, it is advertised on the web as a vacation rental,
Yes,
correct?
That's correct.
and
That is correct.
the Betty is also the name of the event venue.
Well, does the event venue have 4 bedrooms and 4 full baths?
No, it does not.
Okay, so that would be the residential structure.
Yes.
That would be,
That we're
yes.
saying is not a short-term vacation rental.
Correct.
Something doesn't add up.
I believe the website is just a holdover from old plans and has not been updated. So again, you can't,
When do you expect to update it?
we'll have to raise that with our client. You can't book anything because there's a tenant there.
Well, 4 bedrooms is a lot of bedrooms to book. For
Again-
short-term vacation rentals, advertise 1 bedroom.
We understand that that's out there. I mean, but she hasn't rented it, and again, we're crystal clear, we'll allow for the rezoning. We're more than happy to have an express condition that prohibits short-term vacation rental that would possibly be allowed if it was urban growth. Even though the structure that would have the bedrooms on it is not on that parcel, we're certainly happy to have that condition added.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm good for now.
All right, thank you. Councilwoman Burrs.
So the Betty is what I'm calling the warehouse thing right now, and somehow it got attached to the house?
Well, I don't think it's not attached to the house. I mean, again, on the
Oh, no, what I'm
website,
saying
it's
is-
both. Yes, I
What's
think
up
it's
there online that can be rented?
what is online initially with her plans was you can rent the event space and you can stay in the house, or you could do one or the other.
Okay.
But she never went through with those plans as far as the
So
use of
when
the
is
house.
everything going to be cleaned up so that there's, right now, I guess, some interesting advertising? When would that be all cleaned up?
We'd have to ask her on that. I mean, obviously, if you.
So should we
approve the
wait to even
rezoning,
talk about it till that's done?
I mean, she's got to clean it up, because whether you approve the rezoning or not, she can't
She has to
can't do
clean it
So
up, yeah.
she needs to fix the website so that it doesn't advertise that. Again, as Hannah Claire pointed out, she's not taking reservations. She can't do it because there's a tenant in the house. But we agree, it needs to be cleaned up because she can't legally do short-term rental.
Yeah.
And so as part of the rezoning, if you were to grant it, you could add that condition again to, once again,
Well,
clarify.
we're only
that she can't do
rezoning
it.
part of it, so we can't add a condition to something we're not looking to
Well,
rezone.
we can make it a condition to that, to the extent there's bedrooms in there, that she could somehow do a short-term rental for that, which she couldn't. And then obviously there's already a condition that she can't
A
do short-term rental in the
rental
house.
for what? A short-term,
Short-term rental at the event space, to the extent there's a bedroom.
short-term rental for, you mean like from 9 to 5 on Tuesday night, short-term?
No, short-term like vacation rental. I mean, event space, she's planning to do rental, to have, Saturday wedding.
So she would apply for something for the short-term vacation rental in the warehouse?
She would not. In connection with the urban growth approval, it would be used for event space, not short-term rental as far as residential use, vacation rental.
Okay, I guess maybe my colleagues have other questions. But no matter what happens, she probably needs to take all that down, right? Because it's
No,
illegal.
I agree. She can't,
Yeah.
because she can't lease the house for short-term rental. She doesn't have a permit to do that. And so it's
Yeah.
inaccurate even though she hasn't been doing it, it's inaccurate to even have it on the website that there's a potential for doing it.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Councilwoman. There's no opposition, so.
I got a lot on.
Oh, I'm sorry, Councilman, hit it again for me. All right, Councilman Henderson.
I kind of hate to belabor this, but I just went on the website to try to rent a room, and it's allowing me to rent a room. So I'm not sure that just because you got a tenant, it's
I can,
Just keeping somebody from renting the road.
all I can tell
I'm
you
just
is it's
saying.
been represented to us.
I'm just saying, this doesn't seem like we're on the up and up here.
Well, again, it's, whether you grant the
It
rezoning or
is
not,
kind
that's
of, I will
illegal.
say it is kind of pricey, though.
And
Let me, while I've got the floor, Madam Chair, let me go back just a minute. And what we're really talking about here is an event hall, correct?
that's correct.
In a neighborhood, and I'll be honest, that raises red flags to me, for me, that you would have an event hall, event space in among these single unit residential homes, because I'm assuming, and I have a event hall down from my house. On the weekends, I can hear the music plain as day, and these houses are a lot closer than that event hall is to me. So I would assume that it would be quite disturbing to these residential units that's around this event hall, that when an event is going on, and I'm assuming most of them would be at night, that it would disturb their quiet enjoyment of their property. So that in itself, the event hall raises a red flag for me, but I'll leave it at that, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much, Councilman Henderson, for your diligent research. Indeed, it's greatly appreciated. Councilwoman O, there's no opposition here, and they've exhausted their 7 minutes. So with that, I'll leave it up to you. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, and this venue hall is not
Appropriate for this location. So I have constituents who have voiced opposition to an event being at this location. So with that being said, I make a motion to deny.
Okay, we have a motion and a proper second. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Thank you so much. And council, I do need to circle back to item H on the police for final reading. Our rules state that we must have 5 votes to pass or fail any motion. We did not. We only had 4 for opposition. So this item will come back next week on our agenda for a final vote.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, got it. All right, Madam Clerk. Oh, sorry.
Yes.
I mean, I'm all good with that,
Okay.
but I made a motion to approve, and the motion failed for lack of 5
Votes, right.
Yeah.
Under your
So-
rules, yeah, but under your rules, it has to take 5 votes yes or 5 votes no to adopt or defeat any actions. That's what your rules currently state based upon your resolution that was passed in 2023. And unless you have 5 votes in favor or against, you have a problem. In this case, we had 4 votes for no and 3 votes for yes, but that did not constitute 5 votes in favor or against. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. All right, Councilman, I'm sorry, hit you again, Councilman Smith. Okay, Councilman Smith.
Yeah, that would change a significant amount of legislation I've been involved with over the last 11 years. So I don't think that's 100% true. You need 5 votes of a motion. So if that was the case, though, that means that nothing would fail for lack of a second or anything else. If action is to be taken on the item, you need 5 votes for that particular action, 5 to pass or 5 to deny. If it does not have its 5 for that action, it reverts to the opposite. I'm like Councilman Henderson, I happen to be on the favorable side of that decision. I just think it's the wrong one. Just wanted to say that, but we'll go with the city attorney on this one, and I'll count my stars till next week.
All right, all right, all right, all right. So wild one tonight. Let's see, so we're on the ordinances on the first reading, item B, Madam Clerk.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance, so as to lift condition number 2 from ordinance number 13624, a previous case number MR 2020-0132, after the abandonment of parts of several streets and alleys located near 901 South Holtzclaw Avenue.
All right, is the applicant present? Okay, I have an applicant, any opposition present? All right, this is in districts 8 and 9.
Madam Chair, if we could,
If I could make a motion to defer that until Councilwoman Kumar returns. I know she wanted to have a meeting with some of her constituents, and I don't know that she actually that she did that because I did not
Okay.
hear from her in reference to that. So if
Okay.
I can move to defer for 1 week.
Okay, we have a motion to defer for 1 week with a proper second. Any comments or questions? All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes. Madam Clerk, item C.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance, so as to lift condition number 2 from ordinance number 13625 from the original abandonment of previous case number MR 2020-0134 from property located in the 1300 block of Vance Avenue.
All right. Is there an applicant present? Okay, any opposition present? All right, Councilwoman No, this is in districts 8 and 9.
once again,
Madam Chair, if I might make a motion to defer for 1 week due to the fact that I don't know if she met with her constituents or not.
second.
All right, it's been motioned and properly second. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Okay, under resolutions on the council office, if there's no opposition, we will take items A and B as a group. Okay, Madam Clerk.
Item A, a resolution confirming the appointment of Melody Shikari to the Industrial Development Board for District 8 for a term beginning on October 25, 2023, and ending on October 24, 2029. Item B, a resolution confirming the appointment of Gina Revere to the Community Advisory Committee for Bushtown Glenwood for District 8 for a term beginning on October 25, 2023, and ending on October 24, 2025.
All right. Council, you've heard the reading. Have a motion and proper second. Any comments or questions? All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes. Council, if there's no opposition, we can take resolutions, items C and D as a group. All right, Madam Clerk.
Item C, a resolution authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into a third agreement to exercise option to renew with Missionary Ridge Neighborhood Association, Inc., in substantially the form attached to lease approximately 2,600 square feet of space at 36 Sheridan Avenue, identified as tax map number 156EB001.01, for an additional term of 1 year through December 16, 2024, for the rent of $1 per term. Item D, a resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Economic Development to apply for and, if awarded, accept a recompete grant from the Economic Development Administration's EDA recompete pilot program in coordination with Hamilton County, the Chattanooga Area Chamber of Commerce, Chat 2.0, Benwood, and the Bethlehem Center to support revitalization of EDA eligible distressed areas in the city where prime age 25 through 54 years employment significantly trails the national average in the amount of $500,000.
All right, Council, you've heard the reading.
Move to approve.
Okay, it's been motioned and properly second. Any comments or questions? All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes. Madam Clerk, item E.
A resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Public Works to award contract number Y22011-201 Hickson Community Center roof replacement to Porter Roofing Contractors, Inc., of Morrison, Tennessee, in the amount of $308,075 with contingency in the amount of $30,000 for a total amount of $338,075.
Right? That is in District 3.
Second.
Okay, it's been motioned and properly second. Any comments or questions? All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes. We've reached purchases.
Good evening, council. We have 4 purchases recommended for approval. The first is from the Fleet Management Division of Public Works. This is a 2-year renewal of a 4-year contract with East Ridge Fast Lube for tires and small and light duty vehicles, a 7% price increase was submitted at the time of renewal due to annual Bridgestone and Firestone price changes, and the vendor absorbs the cost until the one-year term is over. The increase is $17,500, and the new estimated annual spend is $267,500. Next, from the Facilities Division of Public Works, this is a new blanket contract for custodial services at the Family Justice Center. This will be a 4-year agreement not to exceed $65,000 per year. The award will go to Detail Experts as the best bid for the city of Chattanooga. Next, from the Real Property Division of Economic Development, an RFP was conducted for a licensed real estate agent. The award recommendation has been made to Second Story Property Management LLC. This will be a 4-year agreement not to exceed $5,000 per year. The majority of the costs associated with the service will be paid from proceeds of sales. And last, from the Department of Technology Services, this is a request for a 12-month extension on citywide cellular services in the amount of $900,000. Blanket Agreement 556671 utilizes State of Tennessee statewide contract Sourcewell number R811. The current contract expires October 31st, 2023, and the statewide contract expires October 31st of 2024.
Councilwoman Byrd.
Move approval.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and proper second. Any comments or questions? All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Brooke. All right, we reached committee reports. Councilman Henderson.
No report.
Okay, Councilman Smith.
No report, Madam Chair.
All right, Councilman Hester.
No report, but let me say this while I can. To those who say shalom or assalamu alaikum or just peace. I pray for peace in Ukraine, Israel, all the world, but I say that to those on the streets, think about what you do as far as if you want to pull a trigger, think about the peace that passes all understanding, because you're going to impact not only you, but generations to come. So, thanks.
All right, thank you so much for the wise words, Councilman Henderson. Councilwoman Knoll.
No report, but Madam Chair, may I ask if the two appointments for District 8 is here, is either one of them here? Okay, thank you, but no report.
All
Thank you,
right.
Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councilwoman Byrd.
No report, ma'am.
Okay, Madam Vice Chair.
No report.
All right, thank you so much. Council, quickly, I wanted to address other business. It's not here, but just want to add it in real quick. I have a recommendation about our meeting time, so wanted to discuss it here on the dais. So my recommendation is starting November the 7th, we move our business meeting to 3:30 and discuss all of our discuss our agenda as well as any committee meetings and things of that nature. Recess for a specified time, and then come back to finish up our actual voting and finish up the business meeting. So I wanted to discuss that quickly and get your thoughts on it. And if it's all well, we can start that on a trial basis starting November the 7th. Okay, Councilman Henderson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That does sound good. I think that will help us work efficiently, and if we can maybe start a little bit before 6, that'll allow us to. The only thing that I would ask or request is that on planning and zoning nights, that we set our recess until 6 o'clock, so that participants of the rezoning, anybody that would like to come for the public hearing, would have an opportunity, and everybody would know that our recess on planning and zoning would start at 6.
Okay, that works. We can do that. Any other comments or questions? All right, thank you so much, Councilman Henderson. So we'll move to do that starting Tuesday, November the 7th. Our business meeting will start at 3:30. Our clerk will put that in as an announcement. And is there anything else we need to do?
It'll be published in the paper, yes.
It'll be published in the paper. Is that all?
That's
All right. All right, so everybody's clear. Business meeting starts at 3:30, starting November the 7th. Next week, our meeting does start, we have our 1 o'clock, 1 o'clock agenda session, and then followed by our 4 o'clock business meeting. So just be prepared for those earlier times as well. With that being said, we have reached a point for persons wishing to address the council. If you plan to address the council, please line up behind this podium here as our city attorney reads the rules.
Okay, at the end of each council business meeting, the chair will recognize members of the public who wish to talk to them. Here's your rules. Each speaker wishing to address the council can only be recognized at the microphone provided up front for that purpose. can't have more than 3 minutes to speak, and you can address the council only upon matters within their legislative and quasi-judicial authority and not upon matters which are not under their authority or regulated by other governmental bodies or agencies. Don't engage in any vulgar or obscene language, nor use the floor to personally attack or personally denigrate others, and address your comments to the council as a whole and not towards individual council members. And lastly, do not engage in disorderly conduct or disrupting a public meeting, which is prohibited by Tennessee law, and someone commits that offense if a person substantially obstructs or interferes with the meeting by physical action or verbal utterance with the intent to prevent or disrupt a lawful meeting or gathering. Having stated those rules, go right ahead, ma'am.
Okay. May I pass some pictures for y'all to look at?
Yes, ma'am.
Just two. My name is Janet Persons, and I have lived on Astor Avenue for 3 years in Lookout Valley. I walk my dog 3 to 4 times a day, and there's not a time or day that I have not walked when I have encountered excessive speeding on my road, all coming from Moss Avenue to avoid using their road, which has speed bumps. 3 weeks ago, I almost got hit by one of those speeders. They did not slow down, they didn't move over, and they continued on down the road. And it scared me so bad I was shaking. That's how close they came to me. This is not the first time it's happened. It's as dangerous speeding is a constant occurrence on Astor Avenue, even as fast as 30 to 50 miles an hour. The speed bumps on Moss Avenue ends at 240 Moss, and residents from 240 to 252 Moss, 20 houses with their guests and their vehicles are using Astor to avoid speed bumps for the very reason that we are having to deal with there. It's become our problem instead of Moss Avenue's problem now. So we have women that's walking their babies in strollers. We have people walking dogs, running. Children are out. Someone is going to get hurt, and the speeding is not stopped. Astor is not a drag strip. 2 pictures represent from Cummings down to Moss, before you go to Moss, and from Moss coming back. I have used my arms to wave the speeders down. They ignore my gestures and continue to speed excessively on their way. I know they come from Moss, as I have driven by their homes and recognized their vehicles. I'm not going to jeopardize my life any more by following them and approaching them about their speeding. Speeders cannot see there's a hill in front of my house. It's 19 feet wide, the road is. So if you have SUVs, big oversized vehicles, trucks, there's not a lot of room for error on our road. And the people are coming from Moss with go-karts, dirt bikes, and they're zooming up and down Astor Avenue. We have one speed limit sign that you see on that picture on Astor Avenue. It's obscured by telephone lines, the building, as soon as they come off of Cummins Highway. I'm asking for the city's help in installing possible speed limit signs such as this. Oh, I gave you the wrong pictures. These are the pictures of the streets. But those speed indicators, we would very much appreciate speed limit signs like that with the flashing lights telling how much they're going, to monitor those portables, I don't know what they're called, to please help us, because someone is going to get hurt in our community. And I don't want that to be to hear a fire truck or an ambulance coming and picking up one of my neighbors off the street.
Right.
Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Okay, Miss Janet, is it Janet?
Miss Janet?
Councilman Henderson wanted to.
Yeah, thank you for coming tonight. I'm going to, Chief Sutton, could you meet with us after the meeting and see what we can come up with? And I can request maybe a speed limit sign a little further down Astor too as well.
All right.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Councilman Henderson. All right. If you would state your name and district number.
My name's Christopher Cooper, and I'm also in District 1 as well. I actually live on Astor as well. She pretty much covered a lot of what I was going to mention as well, but I went through and counted a lot of the people. We have about 20 children that live and play. We have a daycare, a place of worship, and both of my neighbors have dementia and are elderly, and they're out and about as well. So it just concerns me that one of them may get hurt, and I don't want a tragedy to happen for something to be done. It makes me nervous backing out of my yard, because I go to work at 4 a.m. Someone's going to come down that road hauling it and hit me or my wife. And I don't want to have to deal with that. And I've emailed anybody in the world that I can the main city council email, my district, CPD, Joe Graham, Lookout Valley Neighborhood Association. The only people to email back or done anything was Chattanooga Police. They came and sat on my road several days this week. They even responded to my email and told me what they were gonna do. No one else has contacted me back to let me know what was going on. So my only questions are, what do we need to do as citizens of Astor Avenue? And what steps can be taken to slow down these people that don't even live on our street? And what are the timelines that will take to be done? And how would that be communicated to the citizens that live on Astor Avenue?
All right,
Then that's all I have. Thank you.
all right, thank you. All right.
Good evening, City Council. It's been a while. I'm here to discuss Major Bakari Wells and Captain Gibbons. An article broke this week about both officers potentially defrauding taxpayers of funds. How Major Wells, who was promoted last year, could be living possibly in Loganville, Georgia, when he's supposed to be at work in Chattanooga, accessing city portals through a virtual private network with the IP address, according to Stan Sewell, that is popping up in Loganville, Georgia, while collecting a salary of $114,800. And seemingly, even though his residence is in Loganville, the article says he is also not paying any Georgia state taxes, which means that there's a possibility he is also defrauding the state of Georgia. I find it very interesting that for 71 days, he has not swiped into a city facility. Captain Gibbons, who is also paid an excessive salary of $104,000, was interviewed by Stan Sewell because of a tip. It says that it was uncovered out of 188 days, 134 days are unaccounted for him coming to work. Even though he lives in Kimball, Tennessee, he has not been present, and get this, he said he doesn't even like coming to work. In what world could a major and a captain not come to work for one for 2.5 months, another for almost half of a year, collect our tax dollars, and nobody knows it until somebody tips off the city attorney and human resources? To me, how does anybody perform a performance review that allows our chief of police to give Bakari a promotion if he's not coming to work? How are you giving a performance review for an officer that is absent for almost 6 months? The technical term, and I want to be very careful about what I say, this leans towards or gives the perception of embezzlement, okay? And in the community, when 2 or more people participate in a crime, that is considered conspiracy. What does that say in their accounts when they lied to the city auditor because he has uncovered everything in the investigation to sustain the allegations against him? But what does it also say? When they'll collect a check and lie to the citizens who are concerned about crime right now in the city of Chattanooga. Please, I know I'm a little bit over time, but I'm saying this because I know, I'm just, please.
You don't want to disrespect the person.
I know, I'm just asking because I'm just saying because we've had a murder. Please follow up. I'm just asking, will you follow up?
Being disrespectful to the person that's behind you.
I'm just asking, will you follow up, please? Thank you.
Hi, I appreciate everyone's time tonight. My name's Emma Olson. I'm a resident of District 1. I came to speak with you guys today, and I'm realizing I can pass along a petition from my neighborhood as well as a map of the area that I'm talking about. I should have created more, but you guys can pass along if it works. I came to speak with the council about installing a sidewalk and a crosswalk on the east side of Mountain Creek Road where my neighborhood is. We have a lot of houses and businesses back there. While there is a sidewalk on the west side of the street, there's no sidewalk on the east side of the street where my neighborhood is, so we are not able to walk safely around our neighborhood or access the other side of the street. We have a lot of children in our neighborhood who are zoned for Red Bank Elementary. It's very close by, but they can't walk there because we have no crosswalk to access the sidewalk on Mountain Creek Road. As our neighborhood is growing with new houses being built as well as new businesses coming in, it's increasingly dangerous for people to be walking there. And it's a really common occurrence to see people parking on the west side of Mountain Creek Road and bolting across the street to shops and restaurants, sometimes causing cars to have to hit the brakes to avoid hitting pedestrians. As our neighborhood continues to expand, these problems will only start to compound without addressing them. I think several of us have put in a request at like the 311 online, but hasn't gotten anywhere. So we decided we wanted to come together and just make a petition of our neighbors and talk to you guys about it. Thank you.
A clarifying question. I want to make sure, you said you need sidewalks, I thought I heard you say on the east side.
Yeah, on the east side of the road, so our streets are like Cross Street to Russell, including Grandview and Cliff Street. And we're all on that east side of Mountain Creek Road, like right where Mountain Creek comes to Signal. So we don't have any way to like walk down Mountain Creek Road because there's no way to cross the street.
Okay, that's, so headed away from town, that's going north,
Yeah,
and you're talking about the left side of the road?
yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure, I think that's the west side, but
Oh,
I want to make sure.
you're right.
Yeah,
I got that
okay.
confused.
Yeah,
It's the west side.
I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
No, yeah, you're correct. It's the west side. Yeah, so like if you turn onto Mountain Creek Road from Signal, you're right, like, and you're headed away from town, the left side of the road.
The left side,
Yeah.
that would be the west side, yeah. Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Henderson. All right, council, does anyone else wishing to address council? What's your pleasure?